Dear students, welcome to my session. In my previous session, I have explained about the classes and objects, how do we define a class, and how do we create an object of a particular class with the help of a simple addition of two numbers program. Now, in this class, let me explain the member functions or function definition inside a class or outside a class. Now, you have know what is a member function, isn't it? So, if I talk about member function or member methods, here each and every function we have to write function definition. First we have to define the function, then each and every function must have function definition. So, while writing a function definition, there are two ways or two methods. One is inside a class, and second one is outside a class. Second one is outside a class. So, what is the meaning of this? So far, in my previous example, addition of two numbers, where I have written one program, that is an example for a function definition inside the class, and another method is function definition outside a class. So here normally what we do is inside a class, and here in this example, in this method, at the beginning we are writing inside the class the function name as well as function definition itself. But when it comes to second method or a function definition outside a class, here inside the class we are only declare the function, and function definition is written outside a class with the help of scope resolution operator. Addition of two numbers. Two numbers using classes and object, and this is an example for member function inside a class. The program as usual will start with header file #include iostream.h #include conio.h. Next, students, as I have told you yesterday, here the program here will start with a class definition. This is class addition, name of the class, and here access specifiers, I said here private colon, there are three variables here, int x, y and z. Under public, here I am going to write a function. First one is, I say void input, and this function I am going to write function definition now. See, that is the meaning of member function inside a class. Here these are the data members, and this is a function or member method. So for this the name of the function is void input. For this we have to write function definition. Now we are writing the function definition immediately after naming the function here. So that is the meaning of member function inside a class or definition of member function inside a class. So this is what I am going to write is function definition. Here, as I told you already, this is the function I have written here, input, to accept the values for x and y. So here we say cout enter two numbers, and after this C in X, Y, semicolon, I am closing this. So this is an example for function definition inside a class, because class you have opened here, it has to be closed at the end. After this, I am going to write other functions here. That is after void input. Next one is void sum. Void sum is a function. Here this function is used to add two numbers or two variables, closing this. Then after this we are going to write one more function, void display, and here this function I am using this to display the result of this function or result of addition of two numbers. So here I say cout result equals z semicolon. I am closing this. Next, what is the next step here? Next line is we are supposed to close this class here. So this class I am closing here along with the semicolon. See, this is what we have learned or have explained in my previous session. Class we have defined the class here, opening the bracket here and closing at the end along with a semicolon. Inside this we have written data members, x, y, z are data members declared under private access specifier. Similarly, there are three functions we have defined in this example: the input function, sum function, and display function. And here for all the three functions we have written function definition immediately after naming the function here. So this is a function definition of this, and this is function definition of this function, and here these statements between these two, a pair of parentheses, is nothing but function definition of this function. See, that is an example, or that is the meaning of function definition or member function inside a class. Next, already you know that after this, what the next step we have to write here? Main function, because every C++ program must have main function here. Void main. Void main is a function, and here open this bracket here. Next, as first line usually we say clear screen, and next I have explained yesterday the first step in the main function should be creation of a class, or we have to create an object of this class addition. So yesterday we have written here name of the class is addition space obj is an object of a class. This is the first line. It's supposed to be the first statement. After this, next we have to call the functions in the same order. So here, how do we call this? With the syntax, you know that obj is the name of an object, dot is an operator. With the help of this, we can access the methods of a particular class. So here in this first method is, or first function is input. I say obj dot input is a function. Next, immediately after this, next function is sum function. Next one is obj dot display. This is another function. After this, we say get ch, and we are closing this. So this is your complete program in C++ with the help of classes and objects. And here in this example, what you have learned so far, how to define a class here inside this data members and member methods, and along in this we know how to create an object of a particular class. So this is also an example for member function inside a class, and already I explained how you are going to, how the program will be executed in my previous session. Okay, now let us move on to one more example, That is an example for member function outside a class. Students, next program is to find area of a rectangle. You know the formula, A is equals to L into B, where A is area, length, B stands for breadth. And this is an example for a member function outside a class. Let us write programs. We'll start with header files hash include iostream.h hash include conio.h. We'll start with class definition, class rectangle. Here rectangle is name of a class. Open this flower bracket. Declaration of variables under private access specifier private colon variables int L, B and A. L for length, breadth and A for area. After this, under public we have to write the functions. Now here students have to observe here in this section, please observe this here. Under public I am going to write 3 functions. Void, I say get data semicolon, and here void compute, another function, and here one more function is void put data, another function. Now observe this here, immediately after this I am closing the class with a semicolon. Just students notice in this section here, in our previous example, under public section we used to write void get data, and immediately after this we are writing the function definition. But in this example this is quite different, and here at this stage, first step we are declaring the number of functions or methods of this program, and I am closing the class here and I am using here semicolon. So this is your class definition. Now how do we proceed next? Next we are going to write function definition of this, isn't it? So that we'll write with the help of scope resolution operator. Here to write the definition of this we are using one more operator, that is called scope resolution operator, that is 2 dots. Here 2 colons together, this is called as scope resolution operator. Scope resolution operator. With the help of this we are defining a function outside a class. How do we do that? Here first is void rectangle. This is your void rectangle, name of a class. Now I am using this operator, and here I am writing the function here get data, no semicolon. Now inside this, now we are writing the function definition. This is same from here onwards, same statements what you have used in previous example, similar to that. So here I say cout enter L and B, this is endl, and here C in variable L and variable B, this thing. And here if you notice it here, you observe this here, the only difference between outside member function and inside function member function is function definition will be outside a class. See, we have opened the class here, and this class at rectangle closed at this stage. And after this, we are writing function definition for a respective functions. So this is void rectangle get data, and here this 2 colons is called as scope resolution operator. And this is what is this scope resolution operator? It indicates or it defines it, or it says this particular functions belongs to this class, belong to class rectangle. So after this, now we'll write one more function here, definition of one more function, that is compute void rectangle, name of the class, and this operator. And here I am writing here next function is compute. So I say compute, this is compute and compute. Next here definition, and here we have to write the formula to find area of rectangle, that is variable here we have declared as a. So a is equals to, formula is L star B, it is asterisk multiplication symbol. Now I am closing this here. This is function definition of second function compute. Similarly, we are supposed to write one more function definition, that is to display. So how do we write? First we start with void rectangle, this operator, and here function name is put data. Here function name is put data, and here this function we use to display the result. So I say here cout area equals, close the quote, with variable is a, and I am closing this. So this is, so what I have written so far, we have defined the class here, a rectangle class. Inside this, variables and member functions, and in this example, member functions are declared under public access specifier, and at the end after the class has been declared or defined, we have to write the function definition outside the class. How do we do that? With the help of this operator, scope resolution operator. This operator identifies or defines this particular function belongs to the which class, or it says this function belongs to this class. That is the use of this resolution operator. Then inside this, as usual, we have to write the statements. This is for enter the value of L and B, and here after closing this, one more function definition. This is for calculation, and one more function. Now again, this program is incomplete again because we are supposed to write main function. Now let us write main function of this. This starts with void main function, CL or SCR. Again, the first step is creation of an object. I say rectangle is name of a class, rectangle space R. R is an object for us. So now how do we call this one by one? We have to, in the same way, R dot is operator, name of an object is R dot operator, and we have to call the functions in the same order. So here R dot get data colon, again R dot next function is compute, and after this R dot put data, and last statement generally we used to write get C head and close this flower bracket. So this ends your main function. So students, hope you understand the concept here. What is the difference between member function outside the class and as well as inside the class? In our previous example, I have explained about the function definition inside a class. Now here this program is an example for function definition outside a class. So only difference here is, see, what is the meaning of that? We are writing this function definition after the function has been defined in the program. So this is an example for member function outside a class. Students, next concept is how to define an object of a class. Is nothing but how to create an object of a class. Already you know one method, isn't it? So this is one more method is there. So let us see which are those two methods. Now next is defining an object of a class. An object of a class. Defining an object of a class. And here there are two methods, or in two ways we can define the object of a class. Already have learned in previous example one method, isn't it? So now let us see once again. Class add under private int x comma y, and under public I am going to there are under public void input one function, void output is another function. I am closing this class with semicolon. Okay, students, now you know what is a class. This is a class name is add, class opened here and closed with the semicolon. And here it has data members. Under private access specifier int x and y, and here under public we have two functions, input and output function. Now how do we create an object of a class? This is in first method. This is void main function, and here we supposed to create void main function, open the bracket. Now we used to write the statement to create an object of a class, and by looking at the previous example we supposed to write name of a class, add space, for example A. This is, and I am closing this. So in one first method, object of a class can be created under main function. Here this is add name of a class space variable name. This is user defined name. So this is an object of a class. Similarly, you can create as many objects as per your requirement, as per your program. So for example, if I write once again add obj1 comma obj2, it is also fine. In this example, I have created one object A here, and again there are two more objects here. So this is one method of creating or defining an object of a class. And in another method, in second method, let me take the same example. Second method. Here, first, as usually we have to define the class name, you are closing the class, semicolon. And here, instead of closing the semicolon here, and after this, we say the name of the object. Now, for immediately after this, we have to write the name of a class here, add and space. I can write here A. This is add A. This A is user defined data type, user defined name. A is user defined name. So this is another method of defining an object of a class. Here immediately after this, semicolon, next line we have to write name of the class as well as user defined variable name. This is second method of defining an object of a class. Students, let me stop at this stage and see you all in my next session. Thank you very much.